Your opt-in page or freebie landing page is a crucial piece of growing your email list. And lately, a lot of my clients have been asking me questions about their specific landing pages. And I recently updated my own. So I thought, let's make a video where I share with you my 3-part landing page process and give you a sneak peek at some of my favorite ways to incorporate brand storytelling into the mix. Because we know that when you integrate storytelling aspects, you're building trust a lot faster, which really is fundamental when you are sending traffic to a freebie opt-in or landing page. So let's first have a conversation about conversion rates, shall we? Because at the end of the day, marketing cannot be an emotional decision. Meaning that when you go to make changes to your email, your funnel, your landing page, your website, so much of that really needs to look at the data first. And I call these data-driven decisions here at Brand Married because they really will tell you what you ultimately need to work on. So 2 questions that I get asked a ton are, what are the conversion rates and how do I build a landing page? So let's get that out of the way, and then we'll get into the 3-part framework that I teach my clients. So number 1, there are typically 2 types of traffic that you will be sending to your landing pages, and you absolutely need to have 2 separate landing pages, meaning that we have cold traffic, which are people who know nothing about you. And this is typically going to be traffic that you are running from an ad campaign. Think Pinterest ads, maybe Google ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, as we all are familiar with. You could also be running traffic here from being a guest expert on someone's podcast, or maybe you were part of a virtual summit or something along those lines. So this is going to be cold traffic. These people really don't know anything about you, but you have told them that they can grab this particular freebie and they go on that landing page. And that type of traffic is going to have a lower conversion rate because you haven't built up that know, like, and trust factor, which just goes to show how important branding and brand storytelling really is to build know, like, and trust. But when you are driving traffic to a cold audience for your landing page, your conversion rates are going to be lower, closer to 30%. I've actually seen a mix of this lately. There are some people saying that like 15% is good. I personally do not think that is true. I encourage my clients to get closer to 40% even with a cold audience. And this is where knowing the data can be so important, because once you know that data, you can actually go in and make small tweaks or small adjustments to the page to improve that conversion rate, which is phenomenal. Because then, of course, you're getting more leads with less money, which is great. Like if you can get a high converting landing page for your ads, then you can spend the same amount of money and get more leads. So it's like, of course, that's what we want to do. On the flip side, we have your warm audience. Your warm audience are people who already know you. They're most likely coming to this freebie page from, reading your blog, listening to your podcast a bunch. Maybe they're already on your email list and you're promoting a free masterclass or something like that, and they're heading to that page. It could also be social media as well, but again, it would be someone that already knows you. They're not just seeing a viral reel for the first time. And that is going to be a lot higher of a conversion rate. In fact, in my business, we're seeing sometimes 70 to 80% conversion rates for these particular types of evergreen freebies. Those are the types of free gifts, free downloads that are not based on a timestamp. They are accessible at any time. People can download them and do what they want with them. It's going to be a little bit lower if you're inviting someone to a scheduled webinar or a class or a challenge, because it might not work with their schedule. So just keep that in mind when you are looking at your conversion rate. But I truly believe that some of the elements that I'm going to be sharing with you today in our walkthrough that help with that higher conversion rate on your landing pages. And again, when you have this data, when you can see how many people have come to the page and how many people have actually taken the action, opted in to your email list, that is going to ultimately be your conversion rate. And you can start to make really conscious marketing decisions for those tweaks. Now I'm getting ahead of myself because we are talking about building your pages today, but I wanted to make sure that you were clear on those fundamental pieces because they're so important. Now, the second question that I get asked a lot is, where do I build my pages? So let's chat about that for a quick second. So most of your email marketing platforms today are going to have landing pages available to you. Now, this wasn't always the case, let me tell you, but it is now. So if you're using email platforms like Flowdesk, Kajabi, MailerLite, Kit, formerly ConvertKit, which is what I use here at Brand Married, you are going to be able to build out landing pages. Now, These landing pages are not going to be highly customizable. So some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today with the structure of the page, you might not be able to do with your particular platform. And that's often why people invest in an alternative platform. So you might hear some people say, oh, my email marketing's on Kit and I use lead pages, which is the combination that I use in my business. That's because I do run ad campaigns and I really want the customization for my landing pages, and that's something I can do in lead pages. And so I'm not going to sit here and say you need all of these different, softwares. I actually don't believe that. I think you should work with what you have. However, if you are running ads, it's really important that those conversion rates are top tier. Otherwise, you're going to waste money. So having something like lead pages or some sort of landing page service can be incredibly beneficial. A third option that a lot of my clients do who aren't wanting to invest in another software but already have a website is they will actually take the forms from their email marketing platform, like Kit, and they will embed them on a custom landing page on their website. And that way they can still track conversions through their form, but they're able to customize it to their liking. So if you have any questions about that or the software, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to make an alternative video for you. But let's get into the 3-part framework that I teach my clients when it comes to creating their landing pages. So let's take a look at a typical layout of a landing page. And remember, we're going to look at one of mine in action, but I want to just break down these 3 sections for you. Okay, we've got the 3 sections here. Now, this very first section up here, this is going to be above the fold. Now, maybe you've heard people talk about this before. We call it above the scroll now, but back in the good old days when people read newspapers, they would open up the newspaper at the fold. So the very important information that people wanted, the information that would grab their attention and actually get them to open the newspaper, happened above the fold. So in social media terms, online, we call it above the scroll. So right in this top part right here, you absolutely need the title of whatever it is that you are giving away. You want to have the main takeaway, and you want to have the CTA. And not necessarily looking like this, but you get the idea. I'm going to show you it in action. So the title, the main takeaway, and the CTA. Why is this so important? Because the person that is clicking through to this page, they know exactly what they're clicking through for. And we want to make sure that we don't break that trust with alternative information or another name or some other messaging. We want to just give them exactly what they came here for. This is really crucial when you're running ad campaigns. And then you want to give them an opportunity to take action right away because that's what they came here to do. Now, the way I like to structure my 3 pages is to think about the action that someone is taking. So if they are at the very top, then they don't opt in. What's missing? What do they need? I truly believe that it is additional information. It's the benefits. Now, I talk a lot about benefits here at Brand Mary. I've got a messaging video all about messaging for your brand and your business. I'll link that in the description below. But this is where people want you to break it down. Like, what are they actually going to gain from this? What are they going to learn? How is it going to support them? Really using the language that they would use to describe the issue or the scenario that they're in or the desires that they ultimately have. And so in the benefits section, many of my clients and myself will create a bulleted list. So 3 is kind of the magic number. And so you create 3 bullets that clearly articulate exactly what it is that they're going to get and why it's crucial for them. Because again, you don't have a lot of space for that in the top, but you definitely do in this section here. And then we also have another CTA, and we're going to talk about CTAs as they apply on my landing page. Then the third section, if someone still hasn't taken action, they're still down here scrolling, they haven't decided this is for them, why? Most likely they don't trust you. They don't know you. Remember, especially for cold audience, this is freaking key. They don't know you. They don't trust you. And this is where this third section is all about the story. And it's a combination of your story while also pulling into pieces from their story as well. And when it comes to storytelling, there's 2 things that we always want to talk about: authority and empathy, the A and the E. And so this piece right here is really showcasing the authority. Why should someone trust you? What are your credentials? What do you do? If you're just getting started, even just your hook statement, talking about why you're passionate about what you do, your mission statement, all of these things are all elements of authority. We also absolutely want to have a photo here, and I'm going to talk more about photos in our example, but you absolutely need a photo here as well. And then we're going to have another CTA. So when you can break down a landing page like this, it makes it super simple. I've repeated this exact same process for 8 years now, this exact same layout. And I'll sprinkle in a few things from here to there, maybe some testimonials, as you'll see in mine. But when you're just getting started, this right here is all you really need. You've got 3 ways for them to take action. You're telling them right away above the scroll what they're going to get. You're elaborating on it a little bit more in the next section. And then finally, you're sharing that story, that authority, and that empathy to build trust and connection so that they actually want to take action with you, your specific brand. All right, let's take a look at my landing page in action so we can actually see what this might look like. This is one of my classes. It's the Build a Better Brand method. It's an evergreen class, completely on demand, instant access that I've been offering for years. You're going to see the 3-part framework in action. So right at the top here, we have above the scroll. Now, this might not always be perfect for you. I have a pretty big screen that we're looking at now, but you want to get that button, that CTA, as close to the top as possible. And so that's exactly what we've done here. So right away, you see it's the Build a Better Brand method. That is how I advertise the class. It's a branding class. We are going to learn this method. And then right away, I am giving them some details, a description of what they're ultimately going to learn in the class. Now, you do not have to use these bullets like I've done here. You could do a sentence, 2 sentences, whatever. But I am basically communicating that they will be able to master my proven 5-step brand framework to attract dream clients, effortlessly create engaging content, build a loyal following, and generate consistent income. I know that these are important to my ideal customer, so they're right there front and center. This is what you're going to be able to do with this class. Now, 2 things I want to draw your attention to. We have the button here. Now, you're going to notice that I use my orange color throughout. There's a lot that we could dive into with color psychology when it comes to taking action. Orange and red typically work really well. Orange is a brand color for me, and it's a high contrast color with the background. So the big thing that I really want you to keep in mind is that this button should stand out. It should not be black. The rest of your freaking font is black. This needs to be an alternative contrasting color so that the eye goes directly to the button. It's going to improve your conversions. The other thing I want to draw your attention to in the beginning is a photo. Now, you could go either way with this. You could have a mock-up of the free gift that you're giving. I do have a few guides that have that, especially if it's like a PDF or a digital download with pages. But typically, I will default to a photo of myself as a way to start building that know, like, and trust factor. This photo is not looking directly at the screen because I do have photos following up on the page of me looking directly at the screen. But if you only had one photo and this was it, I would want you looking at the camera because that's really going to build that connection right out of the gate. Again, you can have additional photos later on if you don't want to have one right at the top. You could have a stock photo. You could have a mock-up, which works incredibly well, especially for digital downloads. I have a very strong personal brand. This is all about branding, so it made sense for me to use a photo of myself. Then as we scroll down, we're going to go into the second piece here. Now, again, we want to ask ourselves, what is missing? What does my ideal customer still need? Why didn't they take action? And so this is where you want to give additional details. So I'm elaborating a little bit more. I'm saying this is a 45-minute class, so they know how much time they have to dedicate. And then I'm sharing my 3 bullets. So I'm going to be teaching the hidden brand killers, the power of personal branding, and the art of building a magnetic brand. So again, like right up here, I said, you're going to do the 5-step framework. But now I'm going a little bit deeper. And within this 5-step framework, you're going to learn these different things. I'm also starting to incorporate storytelling of my ideal customer using their specific language. So knowing that my ideal customer wants to save time, wants to save money, wants to save frustration. I also know that my ideal customer wants to attract loyal followers. They want to generate consistent revenue. They want to create an impact. And so I'm starting to integrate a lot of that messaging that I know is true for my ideal customer into these bullets because it really is about them. Again, a contrasting button. When you click this button, a pop-up comes up with the name and the email address. There is a lot of research on a form embedded and a 2-step opt-in. And typically the 2-step opt-in does better in terms of conversions. But again, not every email platform or landing page is going to have that accessible to you. So work with what you have when you're starting out. And then I have a photo of me directly to the camera. Then we go down to the 3rd section. Now, I sprinkled in a little bit more storytelling here. And these are testimonials from people who have watched my class in the past. And I wanted to add those here as an additional layer for someone who maybe doesn't trust me just yet. You absolutely don't need this, but if you have it, if you've been running this class or have had this challenge or this PDF or whatever it is for a long time, throw those in there because they absolutely do help. And then down here, we have that third piece, my favorite piece of the landing page personally. And this is the storytelling component where you're just dialing it up a ton. Now, I kind of call out my audience here where I say, wait, who's teaching this thing? I really like to create copy that is what they might be thinking in the back of their mind. And so I'm saying, wait, who's teaching this thing? Hi, this is who I am. I love to write my bios in first person. I think it is more effective, especially as someone who has a personal branded business. And again, a photo of me, a very freaking strategic photo of me sitting on the floor, casual, laid back, and I'm looking directly at the camera. The goal here is that if someone doesn't trust me just yet, I'm doing as much as I can to build that trust with that person by using language I know that they would use, sharing my authority and empathy, and sharing a photo as well. Now, this bio starts with my hook statement, exactly my title, who I serve, and how I serve them. I then go into how long I've been in business and what my main mission and values are. I talk more about how long I've been doing communication and marketing, over a decade. I talk about starting my business, other things that I do. I sprinkle in the fact that I'm also a mother, these relatable things that I know are important to my ideal customer. And I end with additional authority of where I've been featured. Now, I did take it up a notch, and you don't have to do this, but I have logos of the places I've been featured as well. And then we have that final CTA at the bottom. Now here we have an orange box because again, I want them to stop. I want them to take action if they haven't already. And the button is a contrasting cream color. I hope that this video was really helpful for you. If you want additional training videos on growing your email list, marketing your business, and of course, branding and brand storytelling, which I personally am obsessed with, let me know in the comments below. I hope this helps you create your landing page for your upcoming freebie, maybe a masterclass, a challenge, anything that's going to help you grow your audience of qualified leads. And these things that I shared with you, especially these elements of adding the storytelling aspect, the nonverbal communication with the photos, is really going to help you attract the right people for your brand and increase those conversions. Make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be creating more training videos like this, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next video.